Hello students, Gretchen. My name's Tom. Well, this is it. This is week 8, I guess you could say the grand finale of all public speaking speeches. I happen to have the advantage, or maybe the disadvantage at the moment, it depends on how you look at it, of trying to convey my message or my public speaking topic regarding our Second Amendment, regarding our right to bear arms, a little background in handgun or personal protection for your home, for your own being and your family. And again, I happen to have the advantage of being here in Okinawa, Japan. I'm into the middle of my second week, and I happen to have the honor of purchasing a particular weapon that goes back to the 1400s. It happens to be a samurai sword, or a katana. The katana is basically comprised of, these are mass produced basically now, they're so new. They have a blunt end on this side, and this, obviously this side here is the razor sharp edge, which is not razor sharp at all because they just don't make them that way. If you want to do sharpen the blade, you would probably do that on your own, but you would distort the actual souvenir aspect of it. So again, I'm trying to draw a distinction between our Second Amendment rights in the United States versus the Okinawans or the Japanese rights to defend themselves. This particular katana is a smaller version. They have much longer versions where the majority of them have where you're able to hold the handle with two hands, but this one here is a smaller version, is really made just for one hand. And I happened to purchase this particular katana off base, and I met a gentleman that, in sort of a direct or indirect way, made a comparison between, again, our rights in the United States and our rights here in Okinawa, where the fact that the majority of Okinawans and Japanese happen to have one of these at home. I think they primarily have it because they say that it has a God-like presence or spirit, where they believe that it will keep their home safe, their property safe, their family safe, and that's a powerful message to come across with such an awesome potential weapon. Now, this particular katana goes back to the 1400s, and it was obviously primarily used for samurai warriors. They don't have here in Okinawa a Second Amendment per se, and but luckily we do. And I would like to, should know this by heart, but I don't. But I would like to read to you our Second Amendment rights as it was written back in 1776. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Again, the Okinawans don't have that particular etched in stone amendment right, but they still, their culture and their history dictates that they have also the right to bear arms without government interference or what have you. Back in 1945 to 53, there was post-World War II efforts to ban the katana, which was banned, and a lot of them were confiscated and thrown away. But back at the end of 1953, there was a resurgence of the katana, and the smiths, or the swordsmiths, were capable of going back to work and earning a living again. So the gentleman that I met was very proud and honored that and I'm very proud and honored that I purchased this particular katana from him. Going back to the purchase of the sword, along with the information that this gentleman gave me, you can compare the adolescent childhood of not only boys but also females or girls. There's no gender distinction whatsoever. Boys in this country, for the most part, they grow up. The best thing to do is respect and know how to handle a particular firearm. In this case, men and women, or boys and girls, grow up respecting the samurai sword or the katana, and they go out and they use it as a cultural, more of a cultural effect, in a kind of a flamboyant dance type aspect. And for the most part, here in the United States, young boys, I happened to have a little BB gun and a little air rifle when I was a young kid, and then graduated into a .22, and went from there. And so he told me that boys, primarily boys, as young as 3, will begin to, if you want to use the word toy around. I don't think they actually would use that, but we kind of use that in a way, a little toy around with a air rifle or a gun or what have you. So in this case, there's a pretty good link and distinction and comparison between the cultures, again, that we have and the cultures that the Okinawans have, or Japan in general. So I was very impressed by this gentleman, very impressed by the sword, very impressed by the undying respect for weaponry and firearms, or the right to bear firearms shall not be infringed upon. I'd like to get back real quick to that. From 1945 to 1953, the government pretty much came and took all their katana or samurai sword weaponry, and you can only imagine that happened in the United States, which it never will, because we have it in our laws and it's respected. I'm going to put this aside just for one moment. I can actually give a little show more here, if you would prefer. And if I could just end by a couple of words here, or not words, but props, I guess. One would be, we should have common sense gun laws like in Europe, but it didn't work very well in Europe, but only for the Nazis, and you had the Jews and Christians walking to their death. Again, this is a little kind of ironic, but so you're against the private ownership of guns. Well then, who needs this when we have this? So who needs fire extinguishers when you have the fire department? Well, most people, at least I do also, have fire extinguishers in their home. They can't really depend on the fire department or the police to get there on time. So that's why I have a firearm to defend myself, my family, and my property. Another before and after, gun control for dummies. And this is a before, and this is an after. And of course it's showing you a law-abiding citizen with a handgun or firearms, and then without. And the citizen, obviously the criminal has a pretty good smile on his face because he can do what he wishes. And then last but not least, I am all for gun control and trusting government to protect you. After all, it worked great for us, which was the Indians. They had everything taken away from them because of government control. And lastly, Charlton Heston was an NRA president for decades, and he made a short blanket statement which states, let me make this short, open blanket comment. There are no good guns, there are no bad guys. Any gun in the hands of a bad man is a bad thing. Any gun in the hands of a decent person is no threat to anyone, except bad people. And with that, I'd like to end my presentation on Second Amendment rights, gun control, right to bear arms, maybe the history of, basic history of guns. And well, thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'm looking forward to get back to the States here at the end of next weekend. Thank you very much. God bless.